Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom, giving our glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. And double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful elect out there listening and learning and or teaching. Shalom to you all. Alright, so they got another report about, in a recent one at that, about these cylindrical objects that they're seeing in the skies, man. All right, so we know that these are the chariots of the Lord, and we're gonna go into that. Okay, but you have the typical, more typical flying saucer shape chariots, but then you also got the cigar shape or the scroll shape chariots as well. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get into it. It says Army whistleblower reveals never before seen footage of UFO branded the cigar after it soared across U.S. border.
Known as the cigar video.
Bob says not much is known about this sighting other than that it was shot by a CBP reconnaissance plane, probably an RC-26, which usually flies at about 25,000 feet. The plane was in the same vicinity as the rubber duck when it captured this object moving quickly in a straight line without discernible wings or propellers.
So, that's the object you're talking about. It's like a stubby little cylinder.
That's correct.
The thing I find fascinating is that in the FOI US Air Force reports, there are pilots that report coming across cylindrical objects at hugely high altitudes.
Well, that might fit the bill.
To be certain, we return to the scientists of the SCU for analysis. It's nicknamed the cigar,
And we'd like you to have a look at it.
There seems to be an effect following it, like a trail. And that could be the fact that it's got propulsion. So then the question is, could this be a missile?
A missile? Maybe. But Peter Reale has a different take.
The intriguing part is it doesn't seem to have any lift capability of any lift mechanism. It doesn't appear to have an engine. It's one solid color. So usually it would have a hot engine and perhaps a cold surface.
Cool, that one.
There it is, man. All right. So yeah, they started to see these cylindrical shaped objects. All right, and this wasn't too long ago. Bear with me here. It doesn't seem to say. Here's the original article. Oh. Yeah, I know it was recent though. I mean, you could see the comment was an hour ago. This is recent news. All right, it might be a day old or whatever. But yeah, man, that's the point. The point is they're seeing these cylindrical objects. And we're going to go into the book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 1, and go into what the scriptures say about these objects, man, because these are not man-made objects that people are seeing in the skies, man. Okay, and people have been seeing UFOs for ages, and even more so now that we have cameras everywhere. Cameras on planes, cameras in people's cell phones. Okay, people are taking video footage and pictures of these chariots, man, which I saw a chariot a few years back, and I took a picture on that and made a video about it. All right, but yeah, man, the Lord is making himself known through these things, man. All right, these things are in the scriptures. All right, so let's go right into it. This is Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll." Okay, now the title here says flying scroll, but we're going to go into that word roll and see what we get here in the Hebrew.
Strong's H 4039. Megillah.
Megillah, which means a roll, book, writing. Okay, a roll, volume. Okay, now there was another one I saw somewhere that said scroll. Might have been a different concordance. But it doesn't matter. The point is, what he saw, okay, he can only describe it with things that he knew. Okay, because here you got scientists and, military personnel explaining what they saw. It's a cylindrical object shaped like a cigar, kind of like a fat, stubby cigar, and it's flying at very high altitudes, very high speeds, but there's no propellant. There's no engine. There's no heat signatures or it's all one solid color. All right, so what is that saying? Okay, it's not of this world. It's something that they can't fully describe. So imagine seeing this thousands of years ago. He can only describe it with what he knew. So, in modern times, they call it a cigar. In the ancient times, Zechariah called it a roll. Okay, but that's what they're seeing, man. All right, verse 2, it says, "And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Let's get into that. Cubits. How much is a cubit?
Strong's H 520. Amma,
Which is a cubit, a measure of distance, the forearm. Right, from your elbow to the tip of your finger, roughly 18 inches. Or 0.5 m. There are several cubits used in the Old Testament, the cubit of a man or a common cubit, the legal cubit or cubit of the sanctuary, plus others. See a Bible dictionary for complete treatment. Okay, but yeah, roughly 18 inches. Okay, so now I already did the math. 18 inches a cubit. So basically, like it said here. Let's go back. 20 cubits by 10 cubits, right? So we do the math. That's about right here 15 feet by 30 feet. Okay, just so you can get an idea of how big this ship, this so-called UFO, which is actually a chariot of Yahweh Bashim El-Shai, how big was it? The one that Zechariah saw. Okay, 15 feet by 30 feet. Okay, here's a floor plan. You can see of an apartment. You got the bedroom, you got the stairs, you got the kitchen over here, the living area. You got a toilet room, bathroom. Okay, so again, 15 feet here by 30 feet this way. So, it is shaped like a fat cigar. Okay? Like he said, a stubby, which stubby means short and fat, cigar. Okay, this is exactly what Zechariah saw. This is exactly what those military men saw. Okay? So we're going to keep going here. It says, "Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it." We know the thief, the one who stealeth, is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay, let's go into the scriptures. All right, this is Exodus 21:16. "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death." Right, so the Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is guilty of capital punishment because, with the help of the so-called Africans and the so-called Arabs, right, who are all together in this transatlantic slave trade, they stole our people, right? They kidnapped us and basically had us serving slavery in captivity, free labor, right, for 400 years, building up their country. And then to this day, we are considered the poor and the oppressed. And who continues to oppress us to this day is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, and you people out here think that the Lord is just going to turn a blind eye to that, man? You people out here think that the so-called white man got away with it and now his empire is just going to continue to grow and grow forever? Hell no, man. The Lord is going to fucking destroy this place. All right? This place is long overdue for judgment. Okay? And the way the Lord's going to destroy this place, one of the main methods that he's going to use is his chariots, man. All right? Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Right? These chariots are going forth over the face of the whole earth. Okay? For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Okay, we know that they also stole this land, which belonged to three groups: the Native American Indians, the so-called Mexicans, and so-called what are Salakia? Seminole Indians. There you go, Seminole Indians. So those three groups, which are all Israelites, okay? Not to mention you got South America, you got the Canadian area, okay, which that was native land as well. And you got the Caribbean islands, all these little islands, the West Indies, which are all being oppressed by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Even though the people that live there, they have the title of their country, that, you know, they believe their country is sovereign, but it's really not, because Esau, Edom has put his puppet leaders in these countries, man. So it's not really your country, man. Look at Mexico, man. Mexico is completely destroyed for a reason, man, because Mexicans are not ruling over Mexico. So-called Mexicans ain't ruling Mexico, man. Who's ruling Mexico is the president is a fucking small hat, a so-called JEW, man. You could look into her. All right, her bloodline goes back to Amalek. She's not even a daggone Mexican, man. A so-called Mexican, you see? But you people think that you have a woman president who's Mexican. Nah. You see? Verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Right? The devil cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy. All right? This is the house of the thief. America, man. All right, let's get that. The devil cometh to steal. All right. So we'll get John 10 and 10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And that's exactly what this colonizer did, man. Okay, because remember, the devil, the word devil means adversary. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. All right. So the thief, the devil, Esau, these are all the same people. These so-called whites. The thief cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and they might have it more abundantly. Right? Because we ain't living here in America. We suffering, man. All right. Back in Zechariah, it says, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. Right. That's why in their court system, they have you swear over the Bible. All right. But these devils don't believe in the Bible. So why would they have you swear on the Bible? All right. So as you can see, man, this is all fulfillment of prophecy. This is why you have more UFO sightings in America than any other country. It says, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof, man. All right, we know that these chariots are going to be shooting laser beams at Esau and his different various monuments, at different Edomites, okay? And along with the thermonuclear destruction of America, there's also going to be chariot fire here in America as well to destroy and put this place down. All right? So let's get a precept to this passage which is read here. Okay? We're going to go to Isaiah 19 and 1. The burden of Egypt. Now we know that Egypt is talking about, it's not talking about ancient Egypt. It's talking about modern Egypt. Okay? And y'all can remember Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 68th verse, right? Deuteronomy 28 and 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, right? How did the so-called black man get over here? By way of ships, through cargo slave ships. Okay, that's the transatlantic slave trade. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies, right? And that's going into that stealing a man in slavery, right? For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, right? We're bondmen and bondwomen to this day, right? Just without the chains. Now it's mental chains. Okay, and the same thing happened to the so-called Native American Indians and the so-called Latinos, man. You could look up all this history, man. We all went through this cargo slave ship slavery, man. Into where? Egypt. You see? Egypt. Okay? The final captivity here in America. Okay, that's what Egypt represents. Egypt represents America, right? Revelation 11 and 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, right? The great city is America, because it's one continuous city. Yeah, you got technically modern cities, right? Like LA and, New York and, Philadelphia, whatever. But, a city is basically a whole country, is what this is going into. Which spiritually, right, spiritually, see, that's why the Bible's a spiritual book. It's not for, you rockheads out there that think, oh, well, it says Egypt, so it's talking about Egypt. No, it's not. Which spiritually, so this one city is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. So how can it be called two different countries if it's not that, or if it's not spiritual meaning, right? So why is it called Sodom? Because of the philosophy that America pushes, that men can sleep together with other men, and that women can sleep together with other women, and that everybody should be free and do as thou wilt. That's that Sodomite mentality. And why is it Egypt? Because here the children of Israel are slaves. We're at the bottom of society. Right? First we served that hardcore chattel slavery, being house niggas and field niggas, and now we're the last ones hired and the first ones fired. To this day, racism, man. Extreme racism, man. You look at every workforce, it's like 90% white, and then you got the one token Negro in the background to make the company look good. Like, see, we're not racist. All right? You see? All right? Nothing changed, man. Hey, the scriptures don't miss. Where also our Lord was crucified, right? The Lord was X'd out of everything here, man. The way he looks, all right, as a so-called black man, it was X'd out, and they put up what? The image of the so-called white man called Cesare Borgia, and they call it Jesus Christ. Okay, and they also took out everything he stands for, man. All right, you got this whole, like I said, man, this whole paganistic society. It has nothing to do with the scriptures or the Bible. It has nothing to do with the ways of the Lord, yet they swear on the Bible. Right? Showing these people are hypocrites, man, these so-called white people. Okay, but just so y'all could get the connection, all right, just so y'all could get the connection, okay, this Egypt right here is talking about America, the burden of Egypt, right? It might as well say the burden of America. Behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud. All right, that's the clouds of the chariots. Let's get Psalms 104 and 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the what? The clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. And we know that a chariot simply represents a vehicle. It's not talking about a horse and a buggy. A chariot is a vehicle, and the vehicles that the Lord's use, right, which allow him to walk on the wings of the wind, right? All right, these flying vehicles are the chariots of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, the clouds, right? So the burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, right? And he's doing that through this video that we just saw, man. The Lord came into Egypt, okay? All right, showing this place, the people that are ruling this place, hey, your days are numbered, man. because these chariots represent the end of Esau's rulership, man. All right, Esau knows that these chariots, the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, by way of the chariots, is going to not only save us from our enemies, but he's also going to take these enemies down and destroy their kingdom with it. All right, it says, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, right? These people are going to be terrified, man. Their heart is melting. They're freaking out, man. All right? And also, what the Lord is going to bring on this earth, man. All these different insurrections and violence, all right? Egyptian against Egyptian, right? Or American against American, like it says in verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, so the Lord's going to be bringing all types of plagues into this place, man. All right, but these chariots are a foreshadowing of the end. They're a foreshadowing of what's getting ready to happen, man. All right, the Lord is going to take Esau down. All right. So with that, let's go ahead to Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, right? Think about all the treaties that they broke, these Edomites broke with the Native American Indians, the so-called Native American Indians. Okay, and to this day, they break treaties and they break their own policies and their own rules and their own laws to put our people behind bars unjustly, right? I just saw a headline. A so-called black man was thrown in jail for 30 years because he broke into someone's house and stole a piggy bank. You see? But let a so-called white man try to rob a bank and he'll be out in 2 years. You see? Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So what does that represent, man? All this wealth and power that these Edomites, these so-called white people have, especially through this kingdom called America, it's going to be translated to the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are the true Israelites. Okay, and I always say so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans, because those are our bywords. We are called that, but that's not what we are. We are the Israelites. We are the children of the light. Right? We're the children of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. We are a superior people, the greatest people on the planet Earth. Okay, look at the power that our power, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, is coming with. These chariots that can defy the laws of physics, man. While Esau is still burning gas to get from point A to point B, and forcing us to go to these slave jobs, destroying our health for what? Just so he could keep making money off this fraudulent system, man. If you people had any idea how fraudulent this man is, all right, you would wake up, man. But the Lord has blinded you people, man. I mean, just look at the way this man sells grain. Okay, the what he does is he GMOs these grains so that they can't replant the same seed. So what happens is they have this whole industry, all these warehouses and factories and whatnot to process these seeds so they can sell it to the farmers. And guess what? The farmers can't just use the same seed they bought from the plants that they harvest to replant. No, they got to keep buying seed from the source. So it's a fraudulent system, man, because they GMO'd it so that you have to keep coming back to them, wearing out the earth, wearing out the people, creating jobs that don't even need to be jobs, really. Okay, and because Esau wants to make money off everything, he would rather you starve than get seeds that you could plant and keep using. You see? That's why when you go to the grocery store, you see if you work in a grocery store, they throw out bags and bags and bags of fresh food every day from the deli, from the bakery. All this food goes in the trash when that food could feed a whole neighborhood of people, man. Just because it's a little stale, it's a little old, they say, oh, well, technically, according to our policy, because of lawsuits, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 we got to throw it in the trash. You see, this man is a fraudulent piece of shit, man. He's destroying the earth and the people, and he's a terrible, terrible ruler, man. And he's wicked and evil, and they got this rulership by blood and deceit and lies, man. So the Lord, being a just judge, a righteous judge, he's going to destroy the so-called white man with these beautiful, powerful chariots of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Okay, and then he's going to use Esau's own technology against him as well through the thermonuclear destruction, the thermonuclear missiles, which the Lord, through his spiritual power, put it in the mind of Esau to create his own undoing. Okay, so the Lord went into Esau's mind to create this weapon. Why? So the Lord ultimately can have Esau use it against himself. You see? Hey, that's a scary power. Yahweh Shem Shai is scary, is terrifying, and greatly to be feared, man. Alright? He is not of this world, man. You people out here don't know what the fuck you're messing with, man. You fucking Edomites first and foremost, and the rest of you fucking idiots that want to join hands with Esau, including 2/3 of our own people. You want to come in the spirit of Esau? You want to be like him? Hey, fuck you too, man. You're going to be killed with Esau. You're going to get zapped by those laser beams out of the chariots, man. Because you're part of the fucking problem, man. Alright? This is Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Right? When y'all see these chariots coming in, you're going to be pissing and shitting bricks, man. It says, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. Right? It's going to be very strange when you see us getting beamed up into these chariots, man. It says, so far beyond all that they looked for, right? These Edomites are not counting on a so-called alien invasion, which is really Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai invading this world that he created with his chariots and with his thousands and thousands of angels, right? The scripture says the angels of the Lord are 10,000 or 20,000, even thousands of angels, right? That's the power he's invading this world with. And you Edomites aren't counting on that, man. All right, now you think you'll be able to fight him. Okay, you got your Space Force. You got your indoctrination that you tell the people of the world, oh, the aliens are coming. We got to unite. We got to all be one, right? The Tower of Babel, just like they did back then. Let's build a tower to heaven, right? Because they're afraid that another flood was going to come through and take them out. So, hey, if we got a giant tower, it don't matter how much water the Lord floods the world with. All right, we'll survive it, right? But the Lord was already a step ahead of them. He confused their languages and separated the nations, man. Because it's not the Lord's will for there to be a one world government under Esau. No, or under any heathen. All right, the one world government is going to be under Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and the Israelites. The so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. We're going to have a one world order. And all you nations are going to submit to us. All right, because of our God, our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And the beginning of that is you getting destroyed by these chariots, you heathens, and all your rulerships, man. And it's going to be terribly fearful and scary. Okay? But it's going to be beautiful for us, man. All right, let's get Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. Remember, the clouds are the chariots. And their enemies beheld them, right? All right, all you heathen are going to see the salvation of Yasharallah. Okay, the end of this age, the end of this corrupt corporate shithole called America and Westernism. Okay, and all these isms, communism, socialism, all these isms all around the world, spearheaded by America, guess what? All of them are going down. When the chariots come in, when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai invades this place, when he decides enough is enough, right? Which will be shortly after the mandating of the MOTB for buying and selling. When they tell all you people you got to get an RFID chip in your hand, or you got to get Neuralink in your brain, or else you can't buy or sell, shortly thereafter the Lord's going to invade this place, man. And corruption's going to pass, man. Corruption is going to be done. Okay? And after the Lord's done shooting and destroying this place, 200 million nuclear missiles on top of that are going to come over here and finish this place off, man. All right, which is going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. All right. That's the day of doom, man. All right, let's get Second Esdras. Seven verse 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time. What time? The time of so-called white people ruling the world, and the beginning of the immortality for to come. All right, what's that immortality? When our bodies are changed, when the law of Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shah is put in our DNA, right? That's the new covenant, which we are not in the new covenant yet, right? We're in the grace period between the old and the new covenant. And the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, right? So when we finally are changed and we're put back on top as the rightful rulers of this earth, there will be no more corruption in any governments. There will be no more lies and murders and war. Okay? There's going to be a whole lot of slavery, right? You heathen are all going to be put into captivity. Every last one of you. All right? And you Edomites, you so-called white people, you're going to get it the fucking worst for all your wickedness and all your evil that you continually do, man. All right? And there's going to be a whole lot of sex too, because we got to bring back the 2/3. Okay? Which the Lord says he's going to speed that process up as well. Okay? Because again, 2/3 of our own people will die with the so-called white man. Because they did not accept this truth. They did not believe in Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai. Alright? So yeah, Yasharallah, our salvation draweth nigh. The Lord is showing us signs. The Lord, his chariots are above the clouds. They're flying through the sky. The Lord is in Egypt, also known as America. The Lord is making himself seen out here, man. The Lord is sending his angels, okay, to show you people that this wicked rulership is not going to last forever, man. And to some of you, this is terrible news, but to us, the hopeful elect, right, and I hope, Lord's will, that I be of the elect, right, this is beautiful news for us, man, because we're tired of this bullshit. All right, this shit got to end eventually, man. All right, and that's soon. Okay, so stay up, Yasharallah. Keep praying, keep believing, keep the faith. Giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Chakurash. And double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect out there. Shalom to you all. Shalom wa, abad babal. Shalom.